This is PSN Newsrun, streaming exclusively on YouTube.
Our top stories for today. Federal government secures 730 terrorism-related convictions, and Police Service Commission promotes officers amidst retiree pension demand protest. Stay with us for details of these stories and more on PSN Newsrun. We'll begin with some interesting news as the federal government says it has secured over 730 terrorism-related convictions, marking a major step in Nigeria's fight against insurgency and financial crimes. Joycelyn is on the news desk.
In a significant move that underscores Nigeria's escalating war on terror, the federal government has revealed it has secured over 730 convictions tied to terrorism and financial crimes. According to official sources, these convictions span several high-profile cases prosecuted over the last few months, marking what many now see as a firm shift from talk to action in the country's counter-terrorism campaign. Security experts say this milestone signals a coordinated effort between security agencies, intelligence units, and the judiciary. But the big question remains, what happens after the conviction? While the convictions are being hailed as progress, critics are calling for more transparency, urging government to ensure these aren't just numbers, but that they reflect a justice system that's fair, thorough, and focused on lasting peace. With terror-related threats still active in parts of the Northeast and Middle Belt, this development may boost public confidence, but it also raises expectations for stronger prevention strategies, victim compensation, and regional stability. For now, the federal government's message is clear. Terrorism will not go unpunished, but Nigerians will be watching to see if these convictions truly turn the tide. Reporting for PS News, Joycelyn Ella Keche Ada.
The Police Service Commission has promoted 55 senior officers, including 12 new AIGs, amid protests by retirees demanding better pensions. Let's hear the details from Joycelyn.
While retired police officers are out on the streets protesting for better pensions, some saying their gratuity can't even buy a bag of rice, the Police Service Commission seems to be in a promotional mood. Police Service Commission is an independent government body in Nigeria responsible for recruiting, promoting, and disciplining officers in the Nigerian police force, except the Inspector General of Police. In other words, it's the HR and oversight of the police. The commission approved a major round of promotions within the Nigerian police force, marking another significant restructuring within the ranks. In the latest development, 55 senior officers have been elevated, including 12 commissioners of police who are now promoted to the rank of Assistant Inspector General of Police. The PSC also promoted several officers across various specialized departments such as cybercrime, forensics, operations, and public relations, underscoring a broader effort to strengthen the force capacity and leadership. While these promotions are being celebrated within the force, they come at a time when retired police officers are protesting over poor pension packages and unpaid gratuities. The contrast has reignited conversations around comprehensive police reform, not just for those in service, but for those who have served and retired. Analysts say for the system to be fair and sustainable, welfare both for serving and retired personnel must be prioritized alongside institutional upgrades. The Police Service Commission says the promotions were based on merit, seniority, and records of service. Reporting for PS News, Joycelyn Ella Keche Ada.
Suspended Senator Natasha Akpoti was blocked from entering the National Assembly despite citing a court ruling in her favor. Tessa Phillips files in this report.
Security was significantly tightened at Nigeria's National Assembly in Abuja this morning a suspended Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan of Kogi Central made a determined attempt to resume her legislative duties. Multiple entry points, including the Mopole Gate, were locked down by police, DSS and other operatives to prevent her access. Arriving in a convoy with activist Aisha Yesufu and supporters, Akpoti-Uduaghan was initially stopped at the first gate. Unfazed, she exited her vehicle and stormed the premises on foot, joined by her chanting supporters, "Na our senator be this." Despite her resolve, she was ultimately barred at the second gate and denied entry into the inner chamber. Speaking to reporters on site, Akpoti-Uduaghan insisted her suspension had been nullified by a federal high court and accused the Senate under President Akpabio of defying judicial authority. Senate spokesperson Yemi Adaramodu, however, countered that the court's ruling was merely advisory, not compulsory, and reiterated that her 6-month suspension remains valid. Today's standoff highlights a growing constitutional clash between the judiciary and legislative authority. All eyes now turn to whether Akpoti-Uduaghan will attempt further legal or political routes and what it means for the balance of power in Nigeria's democracy. Taza Phillips, PS News.
The Trump administration has released FBI files on Martin Luther King's assassination despite family opposition, revealing years of surveillance. Here's Marianne with more on this report.
A historic revelation emerged Monday as the Trump administration released over 230,000 pages of FBI documents related to the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., despite firm opposition from King's family and civil rights leaders. The record sealed since 1977 sheds light on the FBI's intrusive surveillance campaign, including phone taps, hotel bugs, and informants guided by J. Edgar Hoover's infamous COINTELPRO initiative targeting King's legitimacy and activism. King's surviving children, Martin Luther King III and Bernice King, were informed beforehand and reviewed the file, but nevertheless urged the public to approach the release with empathy, restraints, and respect for our family's continuing grief, cautioning against weaponizing the materials to smear King's legacy. While supporters view the disclosure as a long overdue transparency, the family and historians warn that documents may include unverified allegations and personal content that could be misinterpreted. The administration pushed forward under Executive Order 14176, signed January 23, 2025, which aims to declassify records related to the assassination of John F. Kennedy, Robert Kennedy, and Martin Luther King, framing it as a matter of public interest and historical accountability. Marianne Awia, PS News.
Sadly, a military training jet has crashed into a school in Dakar, killing at least 20 to 30 people, mostly students. The tragedy has sparked protests and renewed calls for stricter aviation safety measures. Once again, let's hear the details from Joycelyn.
Tragedy struck in Dhaka, Bangladesh, after a Bangladesh Air Force training jet crashed into a school building, leaving behind a trail of devastation. The crash occurred during a routine flight exercise but quickly turned deadly, with at least 20 to 30 people, mostly students, confirmed dead. Emergency services rushed to the scene, pulling survivors from the rubble as thick smoke billowed over the school compound. Officials say the pilot attempted to eject, but it was too late to avoid disaster. Investigations are now underway to determine what caused the aircraft to veer off course. The incident has sent shockwaves across the country. Grieving families gathered outside hospitals and schools, while protesters took to the streets, demanding answers and calling for a review of aviation safety protocols, especially around densely populated areas. Bangladesh military has promised a full probe and pledged support to the victims' families, but the big question remains: how did a training mission turn into one of the worst peacetime air disasters the country has seen? As the nation mourns, attention is shifting to accountability. air safety regulations, and the future of military training near civilian zones. Reporting for PS News, Joycelyn Ella Keche Ada.
And on sport, the Flying Eagles will face Cote d'Ivoire in the Waffle B Under-20 finals on Wednesday after an unbeaten run to the championship decider in Accra. Let's join Sam for this report and more sport stories.
The Flying Eagles, Nigeria Under-20 national team, are set to face Cote d'Ivoire in the final of the 2025 Waffle B Under-20 Championship on Wednesday at the University of Ghana Stadium in Accra. The match is scheduled to kick off at 7 p.m. local time. The Flying Eagles booked their spot in the final after topping Group A with an unbeaten run. They opened the tournament with a 1-1 draw against host nation Ghana, followed by a commanding 4-1 win over Benin Republic. In the semi-finals, Nigeria held off a determined Niger Republic side, edging them 4-3 in a penalty shootout after a goalless draw in regulation time. Meanwhile, Cote d'Ivoire demonstrated resilience in the semi-final clash, coming from a goal down to defeat Ghana 2-1 and secure their place in the final. The Ivorians topped Group B after a vital 2-0 win over Togo in the final group fixture. In other news, the football world is abuzz with transfer rumours. Reports suggest that Victor Gyökeres is set to join Arsenal with a verbal agreement in place between all parties involved. Meanwhile, Victor Osimhen's move to Galatasaray seems to be sealed, with the club reportedly set to pay €40 million now and €35 million in 1 year. In the English Premier League, Manchester United has dropped Jadon Sancho, Anthony and Alejandro Garnacho from their squad for the preseason tour, with all three players reportedly up for sale. This is Samuel Akpan reporting for PS News.
You just watched PSN Newsrun, streaming exclusively on YouTube. This is your trusted voice for news that matters. Subscribe, like, share, and stay informed.